Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of Jumping in an Elevator, the podcast where I, Mike, from the single most amazing YouTube channel, Mike's Mike, answer the questions that you've always wanted to know the answers to, but you just can't be bothered Googling them yourself. And I'm your resident Googler. You know the word ogle? Like to ogle something? Hate it. But the word Google, which I think is derived from Googleplex, which is like a very large number. Numbers are great. You know what else is great? Space. This podcast, she's all about space. I'm a big space fan. We will get to that. I have some updates to give you to start off with. I'm temporarily out of the elevator. In case you're listening to this and not watching, my background is usually an elevator, but it is not today because we're going to space and I had to dress up for the occasion. The next thing is that I'm also not wearing a headset. And that's because I had a snap decision at, what time did it happen? About 2:55, I think, which is 5 minutes before I finish my workday because I start and finish 2 hours earlier because I'm working on a different time zone or whatever. And I had the idea that I wanted to cut my own hair, which I've done several times in Melbourne, and I just didn't have the facilities for that. I didn't have the clearance in Perth, so I went and bought the clippers and did it myself, and I think it looks really good. So I'm not wearing the headset because I'm having a good hair day and I want everyone to see it. So it's purely for my own benefit. The next thing is that the air conditioner, she is in fact turned on. So if you can hear a dull like hum or like a in the background, that's the air conditioner. There are 3 other people in this house and I don't want to subject them to 0 degrees Fahrenheit, which I don't know what that is. It's different to 0 degrees Celsius, that's for sure. I don't want to subject them to that, so the air conditioner is on to keep the beings in the house warm. And it also allows me to not wear a jacket and I can wear short sleeves, which proves I do in fact have working arms, because usually you can't see them because they're under a jacket. And just in terms of life updates for me, I've been listening to Flo Milli a lot. Fantastic. Gets me so hype. I bought some oat milk and almond milk. Like, long story short, I wanted oat milk. I went in with the intention of buying oat milk and I didn't want almond milk because almond milk's a little bit like watery for me. And the only oat milk was like an oat milk and roasted almond milk. And I thought, wow, in this economy, in this pandemic, sure, why not? So then I got that and I had an asked latte, which was delightful this morning. And that really just put me in a good mood. And I feel like that's important information. And that's literally it. That's all the life updates that I have. I'm listening to rap music and drinking iced coffee. Also, thanks for saying that I look like the McDonald's clown in the last video podcast. That was very exciting, very fun. I saw someone refer to Eve and I as Oscar the Grouch and Ronald McDonald because of what we were wearing, so that was fun. So today is a space episode, and I said at the start that I love space, and I joke about many things, but I did not joke about that. I'm a big space fan, like, oof, bitch. Space is that bitch. Like, think of something cool, great. It's inconsequential because space is so much cooler. Like, I'm sorry to just completely throw away all your interests, but space absolutely outsold. Why do I personally love space? Because it helps me remember that nothing matters and everything matters. Now, let me go into detail on what I mean by that. So, nothing matters because what the hell? Like, why do we think that we're important? Or why do we think that, like, having that extra piece of chocolate is important? If you think about it, the universe is infinite. Well, we'll get to that. Spoiler. It's infinite, right? So it's so large and there's so many possibilities and like parallel universes and duplicate versions of you possibly, which we'll also get to. And the fact that we are so consumed with our own little bubbles and we so often forget that there's all this extra shit and nothingness out there. It's just constantly, every time I think about space, it just resets my brain. I'm like, wow, nothing matters. It's like I don't care about Jeremiah Starfish's apology in his multi-trillion-dollar mansion. Like, I just suddenly don't care. When before I was like, oh, let me just watch that recap. But now I'm like, oh, suddenly it's inconsequential. And also, it proves that everything matters. And that's because think about all the things that have happened to get us to this point, right? Surely, like, along the line, there would have been all these small moments that the person thought this is inconsequential, like I just said. But then those things add up and it's a butterfly effect. And now we've ended up in this situation. And it's like, what does this mean, like, going forward? Does me having a podcast and you watching this mean that something will happen because of this moment, which will snowball into something else, into something else, into something else? And then that means we get to go to Mars. Wouldn't that be fantastic? So, me personally, though, I don't want to go to space, but I want to send people to space. I don't want to go to space because it's one of those things where if you know more about it, I think it's scarier. For example, airplanes, right? So I loved flying. I was like, fuck the cars, fuck the bikes, fuck it all. Fuck it all, fuck it all. Let me go on the plane. Let me drive the boat. So then I loved planes until I worked out how planes work. And I was like, okay, 6. This is like a real skinny piece of aluminium in the sky. There's really not that much separating me and several hundred kilometers or whatever of air until the ground. And when I worked that out, I was like, okay, great. I hate it. And then if you think about space, it's even worse because back in the day, in the 60s or whatever, the shells of the aircraft were like potentially even thinner and shit was falling off all the time. Like, they do be flying through space and shit's just falling off the aircraft. And they're like, let me beep bop, send this back to mission control. Oh, whoops, lost the left side of the spacecraft. And mission control's like, oh shit. That's an accurate representation of what happened with all those journeys. You can quote me on that. So for these questions, I've done some research and I will put all the links in the description. So if you're watching this, you can go and check it out. If you're listening to this, feel free to head to the YouTube channel and check out the links if you don't believe what I'm saying. What questions are we doing today? So we have Stacy asking, is space actually infinite or no? We have Amelia asking, why did they take Pluto away? I love that question because it's like, if you don't know that this is a space podcast, that could be saying, why did they take the dog Pluto away? What did Pluto the dog do? Like, besides being a certain size, are there other qualifications to be a planet? Cameron asks, do I believe in aliens? Then we've got a little intermission. I want to talk about Lady Gaga going to space in 2015. Then we've got Maria asking about wet hair in space. And Rawa asking, what does space smell like? So lots of fun things. Get excited and let's get stuck into it, yeah? So first question from Stacey, is space actually infinite or no? I think this question, we should probably dive into what is the difference between, or what is the solar system, what is a galaxy, and what is the universe. So I've got a nice little thing from NASA here, and they said, you're one of the billions of people in or on the Earth. Don't know why I said in the Earth. Are you underground? I guess if you're underground, you're in the Earth. That's sick, isn't it? So if you're in an underground car park, you're literally in the Earth. What a flex. So our Earth orbits the sun in our solar system, and our sun is one star among the billions in the Milky Way galaxy. So you have solar system and the galaxy. And then once you move outside of the galaxy, the Milky Way is one amongst the billions of galaxies in our universe. So you have billions of galaxies in the universe. Then you have billions of stars in our particular galaxy. And then Earth is one of the planets that orbits the sun in our solar system. So that kind of gives you an idea of the scale of what we're dealing with here. Now the question, is space actually infinite or no? So reading this, and when I started my research on this, I just assumed that it was. I thought that was fact, that it was infinite. But apparently it's a discussion if space is finite or infinite. If space is finite, that's crazy because imagine being able to measure space. Where does it end? Like if, for some reason for me, it's easier to just think that it doesn't end. Because the concept of space having an end is so bizarre. It's like, imagine if space turns out to be a giant box and we're just in this giant fucking box. I would hate that. I'd be like, bro, who put us in the fucking box? You know what I'm saying? But the fact that it's a discussion kind of threw me. I was like, we really don't know shit, do we? That's crazy, isn't it? So I've got an article from physics.org, which is that gives me confidence. Whenever I see something that's .org, I'm like, yes, .organization. And they said there are only 10 to the power of 80 particles in the observable universe, which is a lot, by the way. If you think 10 to the power of 2 is 100, 10 to the power of 3 is 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1,000. So 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, 10 million, 100 million, billion, right? Keep going. Wow, actually, how many powers of 10 is PewDiePie's subscriptions? Or subscribers? Oh my God. My mum calls subscribers subscriptions. Like sometimes she'll ask me, she'll be like, how many subscriptions do you have? And it used to drive me mental, but now I've started saying it. So I can't wait for the official YouTube documentation to be updated to say subscriptions. I think he's, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, 10 million, 100 million. Is he 10 to the power of 7 subscribers? That's fucking insane. Anyway. So there are 10 to the power of 80 particles in the observable universe. So that's much less than the possible configurations of matter in a cubic meter. So this is about to get mental. If the universe is truly infinite, if you travel outwards from Earth, eventually you will reach a place where there is a duplicate cubic meter of space. The further you go, the more duplicates you'll find. What the fuck? Wow, this podcast is gonna get like flagged by YouTube's little swearing meter, but on the podcast streaming services it don't matter because I can just tag it as explicit. I felt so powerful when I started like tagging my podcast as explicit. I was like, yeah, children, don't listen to this, even though you could probably learn a lot, but don't listen to it unless your parents give you permission, because I'm only swearing, I'm not doing anything any worse. But anyway, I digress. I feel like we need to go back and discuss those couple of sentences that I just mentioned because that's some crazy shit. Think about it. You have 10 to the power of 80 possible particles in the observable universe. And how many of those can you fit in a cubic meter, right? Lots, but not 10 to the power of 80. Or maybe you can, but not an infinite number of configurations. Eventually, if the universe is infinite, there will occur an instance of 1 cubic meter of space being identical to the 1 cubic meter of space next to it. You're like, okay, cool. What does that mean for me? That means eventually you'll pass through places where the configuration of particles will begin to appear familiar. And if you proceed long enough, you'll find larger and larger identical regions of space, and eventually you'll find an identical you. I really need to like burp. Oh, I had a large beef burrito from Zambro's with like beans and rice and cheese and sour cream and guacamole and all of the salads, and then I added jalapenos, and then I had the chipotle sauce. It was really good, but now I'm like a little bit gassy, and I had a whole can of Solo. So just letting you know, that's what I'm dealing with right now. If I sound like I'm out of breath, it's because I am, because all of the air is in my stomach. Fantastic. So that, I feel like we need to discuss that more. If the Earth is, if the universe is infinite, there's a possibility, not a possibility, it's likely that somewhere along the line, you will run into another version of you. That is mental because there's only so many combinations of things being put together that eventually that will happen. And then how many times will that happen? If it happens once, just keep fucking searching, right? Like there'll be a combination of molecules or whatever. That's you from 5 minutes ago. Or you from 2010. Or you from 2009. Or maybe there's a combination of particles of you the second that Lady Gaga performed Paparazzi at the 2009 VMAs, resetting the culture. I wish I was like famous in 2009. That would have been such a moment to see that live. God, that's my one regret. Even though it's not really a regret because I couldn't have done anything to get there. But imagine if I did, and imagine if I saw that. I don't think I'd be the same. Things would never be the same again. Mel C teased from the Spice Girls. Which Spice Girl are you? I think Mel B might have been my favourite, or Mel C. The fact there's two Melanies, or is it a Melissa and a Melanie? Well, anyway, two Mels in one girl group. Out of 5 members, 2 Mels. What are the chances, right? Those cells, those molecules together making that up? Wow. Literally insanity. So there's another fun paragraph from that website. It says, you'll eventually find entire duplicate observable universes with more U's also collecting other U's, and at least one of them is going to have a beard. So that's great. Imagine me running into a version of me that can actually fill out a beard. Because I cannot. I can only do this little like goatee moment with a little bit of Seneca Crane curvature on the side. Alas, I cannot do the mo. I probably could, but then people would make fun of me and I don't know if I can deal with that at the moment. Ha ha ha. Anyway, so then how can the universe be infinite if it started with the Big Bang? Excellent question. Bang Bang into the room. Fun fact about the song Bang Bang by old mate Jessie J. No, Ariana Grande and Nicki Minaj. And the fun fact is they spell out bang bang throughout the song, and then Nicki Minaj replaces the first B with a G at some point, and it's very clear. You can hear her say G. Everyone else says B, and she says G to the A, to the N, to the G, to the B, to the A, to the N, to the G, to the hey. And it's like, oh, this made it onto the radio. How very interesting. So yeah, how can the universe be infinite if it started with the Big Bang? Well, if it's infinite now, that means it always has been infinite. Just during the old Big Bang mix Moscato, Nicki Minaj's Moscato line, during that moment, it was infinitely dense. And then after the Big Bang, it's just been expanding in all directions. Not just one direction. There are many directions, and it's expanding in all of them. So imagine the second version of One Direction. Would they be called Second Direction? What a concept. Next question is from Amelia. Why did they take Pluto away? Besides being a certain size, are there other qualifications to be a planet? So from this one website that I can't tell if it's using a lowercase l or an uppercase I, whatever that character is, oc.gov, lover.gov. I mean, we don't love the governments. Actually, scrap that. Maybe edit that out. I love governments. I love surveillance. And I love everyone knowing everything about everyone. Thank you, governments. Thank you. Great. Now that I've got that out of the way, the International Astronomical Union downgraded the status of Pluto to that of a dwarf planet because it did not meet the 3 criteria the IAU used to define a full-size planet. So she got booted. And it says essentially Pluto met all the criteria except for one, and that's that it has not cleared its neighboring region of other planets. So the 3 rules are: it is in orbit around the sun, it has sufficient mass to assume hydrostatic equilibrium, which I did a little bit of research on, and I guess this little thing here says a nearly round shape. So I guess that means you can't have a chunky fucking square rock and call it a planet. It has to be round. And the last one is it has cleared the neighborhood around its orbit. So essentially, right, to quote the government, if you're going to be a planet, you have to be lonely. Now tell me this. I'm orbiting the sun. Maybe I have sufficient mass to assume hydrostatic equilibrium. You can't tell me I don't. And have I cleared the neighborhood around my orbit? I would say I have. There's really not that many people to be meeting up with and talking to in the pandemica. Oh my God, that reminds me. When I see like these influencers and shit like going out and meeting up and going to restaurants and shit with large groups of people, I'm like, the delusion. It was a perfect delusion. You know the song Perfect Delusion, which actually is part of the next thing I want to discuss later. Perfect Illusion, when you say it fast, it sounds like perfect delusion. Lady Gaga's mind constantly surprises me. So I've decided to include some fun facts from NASA about Pluto. So Pluto is only about 1,400 miles wide. Now, I don't speak shitty American units, so I don't know what that is in kilometers, but I pretend I do not see the miles. At that small size, Pluto is only about half the width of the United States, which is actually pretty crazy. Like, Pluto be small as shit. Pluto, step the fuck up. What are you going to do down there? You're too small. Stop trying to front. Talk your shit and then back it up. You know what I'm saying? You want to be a planet? Act like a planet. Pluto is about 3.6 billion miles away from the sun and has 5 moons. I don't think she deserves all of those. Pluto's atmosphere is thin, lol, relatable, and composed mostly of nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide, the old CO. Pluto and its largest moon, Charon, are so similar in size that they orbit each other like a double planet system. See, I think old sister Charon is part of the reason why Pluto got fucked around and booted from the team, because Charon was like, well, let me put this into the committee, the Olympic committee. Why is Pluto over here allowed to say she's a planet when I'm not allowed to be a planet? And we orbit each other like the fuck? Where's the equality, right? What's the equity here? So I think that's part of the reason. So Charon actually submitted a private, an anonymous tip to the planet's committee, and Pluto got booted. But Pluto doesn't know that. No one tell Pluto. On average, Pluto's temperature is negative 387 degrees Fahrenheit, which is negative 232 degrees Celsius. Which, how many, what's that other one? Kelvin. How many Kelvin is that? No idea, and I can't do the conversion right now because I can't remember what 0 Kelvin compared to Celsius is. And that makes it too cold to sustain life, but it does have a heart-shaped glacier bigger than Texas. I don't understand the correlation between fact 1 and fact 2 there. Like, it says it's too cold to sustain life, but it does have a heart-shaped glacier bigger than Texas. Okay, great, fantastic. Next question. Cameron asks, do you believe in aliens? Ooh, bitch. Let me get stuck into that. Also, if you heard my dog barking, apologies. It's around about the time when she goes out to go to the toilet before going to sleep, and she just goes outside and barks for about 10 seconds. It happens every night. I think it's more of a either telling the neighborhood dogs that she's going to sleep, like good night everyone, which is kind of cute, or it's like a this is my last bark for the evening, so I better get it all out, which is not as wholesome. I enjoy the goodnight neighborhood one. Do I believe in aliens? Yes, of fucking course I do. But do I think our understanding of what an alien is correct? No, I do not. So why do I think aliens are real? Well, that conversation that we had before, why do I call it a conversation if it's just me? Conversation with myself? A monologue, perhaps. My monologue before about infinite universe theory, even though it's not really a theory, but I mean, kombucha girl. Yeah, no, it is. It is a theory. Because it can't be proven. How do we prove that the universe is infinite? Tea, kind of spilled there. So I think aliens are real because how can we have an infinite universe where there's other versions of me potentially and other parallel whole hoo-ha shitstorms, and there's no possibility of having another life form that is as intelligent as us? Like, surely in this infinite thing, there is the possibility of something being able to communicate and able to do all the things that we're able to do. Right? You know what I mean? Like, I simply cannot fathom that we are alone in the universe or whatever. Like, and if we are, what a fucking scam, right? Like, to be stuck on this planet with these clowns. in this economy, in this pandemic. And even if we get off, you're still stuck with the same people. You can't just go chill out with a new alien race and be like, ugh, those Earthians, right? Those humans, God, get a load of them. If it's just us, what a sad little life, Jane. I hope you enjoy the money because you've got all, what does he say? You've got all the grace of a reversing dump truck with no tyres. That's from Come Dine With Me. I feel like I'm extra chaotic today in this episode. Apologies for that if my sentences are going all over the place. What was I even talking about? Aliens. So, yes, I think aliens are real. Do I think our understanding of aliens is correct? No, I do not. I think that it is so bold of us to assume that we know what an alien looks like, or like what an alien acts like, or just anything about aliens. We simply do not possess the vernacular for that. Like that whole thing about humans only being able to use 5% of their brain. Like, do we honestly think that we are that fucking smart or that great in this potentially infinite universe that we can just come up with what an alien is, or we just know what an alien is? Like, that's so the fucking audacity, right? Of humans to be like, yeah, that's an alien. Or like, yeah, nah, aliens aren't real. Or like, yeah, aliens are real and they look like this. Like, the fuck? What the fuck do you know? And if you know something, tell me. Like, bleh. So to summarize, yes, I believe in aliens. And no, I do not think that our understanding of what an alien is correct. So next question. Actually, let me just pop my knees up. I'm sitting on the side now, just for the people listening, just to give you a little visual. I'm now side on, which is very exciting. And I'm wearing suede pants, so you can see. Actually, no, I'm not. That's a fucking lie. I just keep lying. I'm wearing corduroy. Are corduroy and suede related? I feel like corduroy and suede are cousins. I would say corduroy, suede, suedette, and velour are all cousins. And obviously suede and suedette are siblings. Suede is the older sister of suedette. Suedette is actually several years younger. Anyway, Cameron asked me about the aliens, and I've already answered that. I wanted to talk about Gaga in space. So, Art Pop by Lady Gaga is one of my favourite albums ever. It might actually be my most listened to album ever. I can probably look that up, but I'm not going to, and I think actually that is true. So let's just assume that it's true. When Gaga released Art Pop in 2013, she was supposed to be performing in space in 2015. In fact, I have an article here from enemy.com, and it says the US pop star will sing one song from a Virgin Galactic ship in 2015. And I remember, so 2013, that was first year uni. 2015 was third year uni. 1 + 2 is in fact 3. That's what the rumours say anyway. Why am I so puffed from getting up on this chair? God. Let me take one big breath. By the way, Nicki Minaj is pregnant. That's so convenient. Like, you know all those memes about her saying child? Like, literally child. Anyway, so yes, Gaga was supposed to perform in space in 2015, and that would have been such a fucking iconic situation because Art Pop is very spacey. Like, it has the song Venus on it, right? And to me, it feels like it's so futuristic and so far ahead of its time, not only in terms of 2013 versus 2020, but like 2013 versus like 3013, right? Put me on a spaceship and let me listen to Art Pop with like really loud headphones or through the spaceship surround sound speakers. Do you reckon spaceships have speakers? Like a really good Dolby Digital setup. That Bang & Olufsen. What's that other one? Raycon? Or the one that's always... Yeah, that's the one that's always in sponsored posts and shit on YouTube, right? They do be getting the coin, I guess. So why wasn't Gaga in space? So everything was going as planned, and then there was a explosion of a Virgin Galactic spacecraft on takeoff. And apparently this was the craft that Gaga was supposed to be performing on. And during this explosion, several people were injured, and I think the pilot died. One person died, I think it was the pilot, which is crazy and sad, but what a concept to have Lady Gaga performing in space, right? Imagine if that actually went through. Also, the whole concept of test flights and spaceships and how much money goes into that industry is crazy. Like, obviously you can't put a value on a human life in terms of the person that died. But if you think about how much money went into that ship and then it exploded, or think about how many times NASA has done launches and how much fuel that requires and all that kind of thing, there's lots and lots of money injected into that industry. And rightly so. But I'm trying to leave the planet. I think at the start of the podcast I said that Perfect Illusion was on Art Pop, which it is not. Perfect Illusion is on Joanne, but I feel like it doesn't fit on there as much. Perfect Illusion or Perfect Delusion. Am I right, ladies? Or am I right? Next question. This is from Maria. Maria says, please help me with this question because it's really affecting my mental state. If I went into space with wet hair and we're floating around in space without a suit, brackets, imagine that's possible, would my hair stay wet forever? Because if there's no air, then how would my hair dry? To start with, you would 100% die, right? You'd be so dead. So dead, so fresh, so dead hits of 2020. Space do be a vacuum, and because it's a vacuum, there's no oxygen. And humans are such flops that they need oxygen all the time, right? Like, can you be more fucking needy? And you won't die instantly, though. You would die in about, I think it's 45 seconds or 50 something seconds. Because essentially, if you are in space without a helmet on, all the air will leave your lungs, and then you have no oxygen, so then you'll start suffocating and you'll go unconscious and then you'll die. So that's a bit of fun, isn't it? Let's say that it is possible to be in space without a helmet. Like, someone in Avengers can do that? Not fucking Spider-Man. He had to use that Iron Spider suit. Gamora? I don't know, somebody. And you have wet hair in space. What happens then? Well, let's answer the question, what happens to water in space? And I love this question and this answer. So this comes from the Caltech website, and someone asked what would happen if you poured water in space. So the answer is water poured into space outside of a spacecraft would rapidly vaporize or boil away. Yes, I said boil. Boil, Susan. Boil. In space, where there is no air, there is no air pressure. As air pressure drops, the temperature needed to boil water becomes lower. That's why water boils much faster on a mountaintop than it does at sea level. In space, because there is no air pressure, water boils away at an extremely low temperature. So there's a relationship between pressure, I think volume maybe, and temperature. And I went through my chemistry notes from uni, and I think you would use the pronunciation is so bad, Clapeyron equation. It shows the relationship between all that shit and entropy and blah, 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 and whatever. But yeah, basically, no air pressure means that water will just fucking boil. You tip that shit and it's going to boil right in front of you. And your hair, it's just going to go dry. Like, literally send me to space. Like, when I had long hair and I tried to dry that shit did not fucking dry. It took so long. I'm always like, how do, like, women or men with long hair deal with that? It took so long for my, like, semi-long hair to dry at all. Imagine having long hair and having that shit wet and trying to go to sleep. That is... what a nightmare, honestly. An absolute disaster. But yeah, just take your hair to space, into the vacuum, no air pressure, and it'll just dry straight away. The water will boil off your head. But then also, you will die. So you could have instantly dry hair, but you would be dead. So I think there's a little bit of a trade-off there. Next thing, from Rawa. What does space smell like? See, I assumed that nobody knows, and I still kind of think that nobody knows what space smells like because the fuck, how are you smelling it? Right? You can't just like, let me just open the spaceship and take a sniff. There goes your air. There goes your lungs. You're dead again. So much dying in space in this podcast. But apparently people do think they know what it smells like. And apparently, according to theatlantic.com, one of the astronauts, I think was his name, Tony Antonelli, said that it's got a little bit of a meaty metallic kind of vibe. And he said it definitely smells like something different to anything else. And a spacewalker. Why do they call astronauts spacewalkers? Are they walking? How can you walk on air? Space traveler? Sorry, Atlantic, I don't mean to critique you. Another astronaut, Thomas Jones, said it carries a distinct odour of ozone, a faint acrid smell, which is not a very exciting description, so I went further. And add to all those anecdotal assessments the recent discovery in a vast dust cloud at the centre of our galaxy of ethyl formate, and the fact that the ester is, among other things, the chemical responsible for the flavour of raspberries. So if you put that all together with ethyl formate, which smells like rum, we've got metal, meat, rum, and raspberries. Which, that kind of just smells like Melbourne, to be honest. Metal, meat, raspberries, and rum, right? That sounds like, what's that Harry Potter shit with the map? The Marauders map. Metal, meat, raspberries, and rum. I solemnly swear I'm up to no good. And someone said, Mr. Jones? Yeah, Mr. Jones, which sounds like a fake astronaut if you ask me. Oh, it's the same guy, Thomas and Jones. Okay. Jones said it smells like gunpowder and it is sulfurous. So that's a little bit of fun, isn't it? I want to smell space. But then my thing with this is from inside the spaceship. So they're saying the gals went out for a spacewalk, the gals came back, they opened the airlocks, the spacewalkers came into the airlock, sealed the airlock from the outside, opened it from the inside, then they let the astronauts in, and then someone who was in the spaceship smelled the airlock, and the airlock smelled like that. So yes, in a sense, there's a chance that they're just smelling the airlock, but then there's more discussion around the smells were more on the clothes of the astronaut, or the suit and the helmet and everything in the hands, as opposed to the surface of the airlock. So I guess that is kind of proof that space has a smell. But then I struggle with the whole concept of there being nothing, but then it can smell. Like when we smell stuff, that's because there's particles in the air that we're smelling, or particles in the air that are going into our noses, our olfactory senses. Like when someone farts, there's just shit particles in the air, and you do be breathing them in. So that's fantastic and fun. I want to smell this space raspberry rum. If there was a drink that was called space raspberry rum, bitch, I would drink that. I also had another question here from Kenzie that said, how does the atmosphere work and why do things catch on fire and at what point can we leave it? I think that is a question for another episode of the podcast. That could be more around Earth or the atmosphere or the next space one, because I will definitely be doing a space one. What do I want the next podcast to be about? I reckon fire away, honestly, in the comments on the YouTube channel. Add some topics or questions that you want me to talk about. Otherwise, I'll pick my own for the next episode. Also, I'm thinking of sorting out a Patreon. I don't know if I'm doing it for just the podcast or all of my stuff, but I think one of the tiers will be submitting topics and questions for the podcast where it will definitely get through or definitely get spoken about, or a high chance of being spoken about, something like that. So keep an eye out for that. That doth be bringing me to the end of this episode of the podcast. I had a lot of fun with this one. This was way more chill. Just a little bit of fun, just chill vibes, talking about space and letting me do the Googling for you. If you're listening, I hope you enjoyed the hum of the air conditioner. I'm in fact warm, so that's great. Thank you for allowing me to be warm. If you're watching this, thanks for 27,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. That sent me, honestly. I was like, excuse me, that's wild. That's so crazy. Literally. Yeah. If you enjoyed this podcast, feel free to, if you're watching it, leave a like, leave a comment with questions. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're listening to this, feel free to leave a review. Thanks to everyone that's left a review already. That's very cool, very fun, very fresh. And yeah, thanks for listening. And I will talk to you all in the next podcast. Peace out. Bye.